right, our next question is coming from Jane, and the first goes to Debbie.
If the Commission of Industrial Relations is reformed, how will you change negotiations with the city union?
I believe that we need to address the unions as they come. I know it's hard work. Mayor Becker has worked hard with the unions. However, I believe that we need to be a little more in depth at the closeness of the way that these unions are dealt with. And the fact that I think we could actually probably meet with those unions quicker. I think we could look at negotiating heavier. Is it necessary that we have all the departments that we have? What about privatization? Is that even in the works?
Let me say, first of all, that we worked real hard to come to a reasonable balance on matters of salaries and benefits with regard to public employees. And you may know that the primary effort that we've made over time, and this is the first time in history that anyone's been able to do this, we've reduced the city's pension contributions to 3 of the unions, and the 4th has taken us to the CIR. So we continue to press hard to reduce those benefits that are not appropriate. I want to say with regard to the CIR that you have to go through the legislative process. The CIR is structured by state law to change its effect on city government, and we need to change its effect on city government. You need to go to the state legislature, and you need to build a consensus, and you need to work to get the law changed. Consensus building, once again, becomes so very, very important. We have worked hard with the municipalities, with Omaha, with private sector people, with the chambers of commerce, to build a consensus that will change the CIR in the legislature. And we have built up an armada of opposition to that CIR as it's presently structured by working with people, by consensus. And now we are poised to make change.
I would go directly to the legislature and ask for that change. I believe that in recent years, our current mayor has not actually shown up to do that. And when he was in the legislature, he supported CIR. So I would say that we need to show up and actually move for true change, as what the governor has asked us to do.
Well, first of all, my opponent's wrong on the facts. I was at the legislature testifying on CIR. And I pointed out explicitly to him exactly one of the provisions in the CIR that did not work, so that I can illustrate to him that there are problems and that the CIR needs to be changed. Effective leadership is what you are looking for. That's what I've given you, and you will see change this year.
John, your question first goes to the mayor.
One of the things that we see throughout the Midwest, and still affects the Rust Belt, not forward thinking about what the growth industry of the future will be. Here in Nebraska, obviously, agriculture is king. University of Nebraska is there in Lincoln. But in your mind, what do you think is the 21st century growth industry?
Well, I think there are a number of things that may well grow in Lincoln. And government picking out a growth industry is a very dicey thing, let me tell you. And it's an especially dicey thing in this day and age where globalization is happening. We are losing things, but as equilibriums build around the world and fluctuate, we may be able to gain things back. We are seeing, for example, that nationally we've lost a lot of manufacturing. Here in Lincoln, we've been gaining on some manufacturing. So I'm not one that's going to try to shape the private economy. I think the people working in different industries know what is needed and where they can locate. And we need to communicate with them, whoever they are, whatever they're doing, as long as they're offering good paying jobs, and see if we can meet the needs of the individual companies that think they can do well here in Nebraska. And I think that there are some things that are changing. I think there will be a lot more emphasis on entrepreneurship, on creative ideas and creative thinking, on internet. And we are entering an age where we will be even more services oriented, I believe. And in that regard, then, we need people will be able to work in more places than in the past. They will have options. And so we need to build a community that has a high quality of life, where people want to come and live. And that involves the entire community.
That's a great question from a business owner perspective. We have a lot of opportunity in our city. We have Innovation Park that's being done, and that is exciting because a lot of the talent that will be coming out of that, the research that will be happening, it's very exciting. Also, we have large communities busting at the seams. I would personally go to each of these communities and ask those corporations how interested they would be in Lincoln. I realize that we have had issues with the airport authority in the past, but also I believe that we could have a good working relationship with our airport authority, create rail, create all kinds of added services for these exploding communities that want to send their overflows to Lincoln. We need to have flights coming in and out of Lincoln. We do need to have lots of innovative ideas. From a business owner standpoint, that's where I feel like I do best.
Once again, as in so many different ways, working with people, finding out what it is they want, what it is they need, in this case more specifically, the people who are running businesses, different types of businesses, is so key and so crucial to doing a good job, I think, in the mayor's office. And Mike Lang's here today, my economic development person. He and I go out week after week after week to different businesses here in this community, and we sit down with them for an hour or longer, and we talk about their business, and we talk about where they're going, and we talk about their needs and the deficiencies, and how the city can better relate to what they're doing and help them grow their business. That's an important part of this job, I think.
I think we can become more business friendly, and I also believe that there are businesses within that can grow and also without. So I'm anxious to do that for you.
Charlie has our next question, and the first goes to Candy.
The city is preparing for growth by both planning activity and the extension of utilities into the Stevens Creek area and northeastward toward the 56th Street interchange on I-80. At the same time, we have many lots and many spaces empty in businesses and sections of Lincoln. In your opinion, are we preparing for growth and development in too many areas, not enough areas, or at about the right pace?
I believe we are developing at about the right pace, but I would add that there are several portions of the community that have said, you know, we feel forgotten about. I visited with lots of folks around the community, and they like the thought that we have the Northeast area development, but also there's West Lincoln, who wants to be the gateway to the community. There's also the Northwest community. So we would like to see that to grow quicker on that particular aspect.
Once again, in the world of the real, you have so many resources, and you apply those resources as best you can in a selective sort of way. And when I came into office, the comprehensive plan of the city and the plan for development was to open up Stevens Creek on the east side. And once you open up Stevens Creek on the east side, which makes a lot of sense because the water transmission lines from Ashland and beyond are shorter. It's a cheaper sort of development side of Lincoln. But we have invested in that for a time now. And what I've done during this administration is to provide funding for sewer infrastructure to go down the Stevens Creek area, for water infrastructure in the Stevens Creek area. And we've done this to be sure that when the times turn around and the developers are there, the city will be able to and has done its part. And the comprehensive plan that we support provides for growth in different areas on all sides of the city, but the emphasis historically for the last 10 years, and I think it's the right emphasis, has been to open up the Stevens Creek area.